KCAA Radio, Loma Linda, where no listener is ever left behind.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah, hey,
Happy Sunday, everybody. You're listening to Whatever Works on KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM. I'm your host, Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan, and tonight we have two special guests. You want to introduce yourselves?
I'm AJ Day from Hollow Spaces and Cold Culture.
And I'm Reflect from Hollow Spaces.
There you go, guys. Yeah, so you guys know how the show goes. Every Sunday we get some new guests that come in, and we talk about whatever works. And we went to Inland Empire Music Awards show a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
What was it, 3 weeks ago, I think?
Yeah,
It was like 3
ago.
weeks, 4 weeks, something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that.
And
But
it was a hit.
it was a hit.
Yeah, it was an awesome time. I had a great time.
We're very grateful for, Tangent and Jay for giving us the opportunity to present Art of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
So congratulations to all the nominees and all the winners.
Yes.
Yeah, big congrats. Big congrats to all of them.
Yes. So before we get started on the show, Kyle, you know what time it is?
Sponsor snjradio.com. No negative news, no politics, just feel good music.
Just feel good music. So yeah, so now we have two of these people here here on the radio. We're just gonna talk about you guys and talk about your guys' ambitions and what you guys want to do to improve yourself and what you guys are doing. So introduce yourself one more time and just give the audience an idea of like who you are and what you're doing.
Well, I'm Reflect. My name is Kevin. I've grown up in San Bernardino since 2000. I was born in 95. I was actually born out in Fontana, the Kaiser Hospital.
Yeah, me too.
But I moved out here in 2000 with my folks. And I grew up out here, and I got into hip-hop at the age of... I was always into it, but probably 13. I got really into it. My buddy Johnny, he would just start battle rapping me.
Yeah.
And, like, just making fun of me, and he was super good. And one
Shout
day...
out to Johnny.
Yeah, big shout out to Johnny. And one day, I just started trying it, and I said some clever stuff, and people were doing, the oohs and ahs, and I was like, you know what, maybe I can do this, and I sucked at it at first. I didn't. But I put a lot of years of work into my craft, and I spent a lot of time just keeping it to myself, and now I felt like I'm ready for the first time to just start pushing it out to the world.
Awesome.
Definitely.
I love that. I'm AJ. You can call me Alex. AJ Day. I got into music when I was a kid. Always grew up around music. My dad's a musician. He played when he was in college and was playing all over the place. Started in school, and then I got into Guitar Hero when I was like 10, 11,
Nice.
12. And then at one point I was like really good at Guitar Hero, and I was like, screw this. I want to play real guitar. Then I started playing
There you
guitar, got into like Green Day, Simple Plan, like all the pop punk,
Oh, I love that.
Blink-182, Sum 41. Then started getting into like a little edgier stuff like Bullet for My Valentine, Killswitch
Okay.
Engage.
Oh,
I
Yep.
love Bullet for my Valentine.
Yeah, and then high school, getting into like the scene bands like Asking Alexandria, Bring Me the Horizon, and Mice and Men. But yeah, I started playing guitar seriously once I was in high school. Then got into a few bands here and there. Been, in and out of different bands for 10 years. And then started touring with a local band a couple years ago. Things kind of fell through with them, but now I'm, doing music with this guy,
Okay.
Reflect. And I'm also in another band, play bass for another band called Cold Culture, but here I am writing and playing guitar with Mr. Reflect right next to me.
All right, so I got questions for both of you guys. Different questions. Usually, when we do interviews, it's like, okay, I think of a question on top of my head.
Yeah.
But now that we have two people, it's like, okay, I should have been writing this stuff down when it comes to the questions. But the question for you, Reflect, is how long did it take for you to actually start putting your music out there?
Well, So it's kind of a long story, but I'll simplify it just a little bit.
We got an hour.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is very true.
We got time.
So when I was 18, I was battle rap. I mean, I was battle rapping people constantly, like just. I mean, I hate to say it, as cliche as it is, but like on street corners and stuff, just battle rapping anybody because I was hungry. I was really hungry. But my songwriting wasn't there yet. Everything was just super barsy. It wasn't like I wasn't writing songs. It was just raps.
Yeah.
And I would just, my friends could tell you, I would walk around with pieces of paper everywhere, a pencil, like, you know, in my phone, you know, wherever I can write it. And it would drive me insane. So when I was 18, I was just rapping. I had no direction. And I went to a party with my buddy Luis and my homie Caven and everything. And CJ Wesley was there. I ran into him, and me and him, I don't know how it happened, but we just started rapping. He showed me some of his bars. I showed him some of mine.
That's awesome.
And BZ was there. And Prophet, his brother Johnny.
Yeah.
Shy, I had actually ironically ran into a week before at another party. And I had shut the party down because I was freestyling so well. Everybody gathered in the kitchen. And that's how I met Shy Glover. Shout out Shy Glover.
Yeah.
And so Shy was there, and he was like, yo, BZ, like, you know, this dude could rap. And so Josh was like, oh, like, let's start working, you know, and Lifted. And that's how I got into Lifted Brigade. And yeah, Josh kind of gave me direction, and I started making music, but I was going through a lot of addiction at the time. So my music started suffering because of it. And so when I was releasing music, I was not happy with the quality. And I went through that for a long time, like a decade maybe, which is why, like, I'm here now, a decade later, since I was 18, ready to put my music out. So I started, like, just hoarding everything to myself, and even she would tell me for years, she's like, you need to get the studio, you need to do this. Josh started telling me. Josh would, like, lean into me. Like, we would get into full-on, like, arguments because he was just like, you're wasting your talent. You're wasting yourself. And so finally I started getting my head straight recently, and I started pushing music out. But what really drove me this past year is I lost my cousin and my grandmother in June. And, like, I just went through this crazy, like, depressive state, and then I just, like, I don't know, it just, like, motivated me. Like, I just saw everything clear, and I was like, I got to go 100% or not at all.
Right.
So it's been a long, long growing process for me.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's kind of how I got into it. It's BZ and Shy. I mean, Noah Wolf, if you're familiar with him.
Oh, well, he sounds familiar.
Jordan, who used to go by Gatsby. I'm not sure if he goes by Gatsby anymore. Bunch of cats, all of them. We all linked up together, and we used to make music. We did a show together. One of my first shows ever at the Palace. MC8 was there.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember the Palace.
Big shout out to Noah Wolf too, because he's guided me like a lot with like little things like, oh, this is how you resize your cover art so it can go on Spotify, and you know, things
okay, just the
like
technical stuff.
and it was just because like I just went to a party and I was rapping and just people noticed me, and I got linked with a lot of people, and even with Alex too. I ended up linking up with her through an ex-girlfriend actually, but we ended up having that day I met Alex. I went to school. It was my first day of college. And we ended up standing next to each other. I didn't notice she was there. And she was just like, oh, you're not going to talk to me? And I was just like, whoa. And we ended
It
up.
wasn't like that. It was like a silly, like, hey, you going to say what's up? And he was like, ooh, what's up?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we ended up having a couple classes
awesome.
together in college. And I remember just me and her talking about like our aspirations and the artists that inspire us. And like one of her dreams was to go on a tour like over a piece of the country, which she did recently. Congratulations.
Congrats.
And we would just talk about all that stuff, and we were friends for years, all these years, and we never worked on music together. And then one day we're just like, why haven't we like collabed? Like we both do this. And so we decided to start working together. Alex was like, you know, come to the studio. I'll start recording your album for you. We'll record some tracks and get you back in the game. Also,
That's awesome.
Nicholas Gray pushed me into it too. That
Nick-
song I know.
I love that.
Because I was like frozen.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. And Nick was like, come on, I'm going to hook you up with a beat. Let's do a session. Like, let's collab. And he kind of pushed me into it as well. So shout out him. But
shout out to him.
yeah, how we ended up making Hollow Spaces was the day it was snowing, like I was telling you earlier. It was snowing. I was in a good mood. I knew she was at home. She lives up the street from me. So I was like, let's just jam out. Let's do some like rock rap stuff like the early 2000s. And she was like, all right, let's try it out. And that's how this song Insane, which is our only single right now that came out. But it ended up getting like 1,000 plays super fast and like streams in the UK and everything.
okay.
We made a music video for it. So it just kind of turned into something else. And I'm just glad to be here and finally start pushing my music out.
That's amazing.
That's a good story.
I told you it was a kind of a long one. Yeah.
And the thing that I take from that story is if it wasn't for the people around you,
Yeah.
you probably never would have pursued this.
Oh yeah, like my family. I mean, my family should have put me out several times, but they stuck by me through all the stuff I was going through and made sure like I always had a home to come to no matter what was going on, and that
Yeah.
saved my life. Like my grandfather, even my older brother, even though we butt heads, he's always looking out for me. My mother, like all of them. I have a very small family, but it's like all I got, and they push me, like they motivate me more than anything.
That's a story that's like pretty much like not really identical, but similar to a lot of IE rap stories, or like people who are here, whether it's rap, rock. You know, it's a sense of community. It's a sense of family. You know, that brings everyone together.
It feels authentic too.
Yeah,
There's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
exactly.
like an authenticity to it.
yeah. It's not forced. You know, it's not. You know, it's magnetic. You know, everyone kind of gravitates to their.
So, you kind of like told your story, but I'm curious on like who are the people that pushed you? Who is your mentor? Is this all just self development? Did you like take guitar lessons, or how did you build yourself up?
It's a little bit of everything that you just said.
Oh, okay.
When I first started playing, my dad, first of all, shout out to my dad. He's been like
Shut up.
my number one supporter my entire life, ever since I started playing music. But I actually, when I was in high school, all I was really doing was just picking up the guitar as soon as I would get home from school, not even cared about homework, just like playing all these different covers and like just like dreaming of being able to play like on a stage and just like jam out. I'd be in the mirror just like head banging and all this, just going crazy as if I was like on an actual stage. And then it's a funny story. I work for a music program now. It's called the San Bernardino Teen Music Workshop, and we offer free music lessons to students in the San Bernardino City Unified School District. And we also offer performance opportunities, but not just like, we do community events, but we also take them to like Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm.
It's amazing.
They play at the Saban Theater in Beverly Hills, and they've opened up for some crazy huge names. But I actually started, before I started working for that program, I was a student in it when I was like 15.
Okay.
And it's funny because before it became what it is now, they were at the Boys and Girls Club, just, you know, having rehearsals. Like, they still offered the free music lessons, but they would allow students to like form their own bands, like, and all this
That's
different
really
things. They would
awesome.
cover whatever. If they wanted to write their music, then they would do it. So I started off in that, and then I joined my first band. We were called Alive in the Lights, and started writing music with them, playing in all these different places, and that kind of really helped me grow as like a performer and
Right,
a
okay.
songwriter and a musician. And I was in that band for a while, still really, really involved in the Teen Music Workshop. The program started growing. We started getting a lot more students, making a lot more friends. By the time I graduated, you know, all of us that were involved in it became instructors, but still, you know, playing and whatnot. So the program, if you look it up now, shout out to San Bernardino Teen Music Workshop, and shout out to Brian Wing. He's the director of that program.
Big shout out to Brian.
Huge shout out to Brian Wing. He actually owns Amberwood Studios, which is the recording studio that we go to
Yes,
and that I
sir.
work at. But yeah, that program really developed my skills as a musician, as a performer, songwriter, producer. I never took like real lessons, I guess, until I was at RCC. When I was
Oh,
getting
okay,
ready to
yeah.
go, when I was getting ready to transfer to university, I went to Cal State Northridge.
Okay.
And I started taking private lessons just to get ready for my audition, because I had to play like, it was either jazz or classical.
Oh man.
And I
Both those
didn't
are
know,
hard.
I didn't know either, because I was just in my room playing Bullet for My Valentine, you know? So I studied there for like a semester, like a semester, just enough to prepare me for the audition. And I was taking lessons with this man. His name is Vasil Chakarzakov.
Oh.
See, I know it's a mouthful. He's so good, dude. He's so good. And he got me ready in like that semester. And I went to my audition. I impressed the faculty the adjudicators, and went to school, went to Cal State Northridge, started taking more lessons there. It was all classical. That's where I learned how to really read for guitar, because I knew how to read music before. I played sax all through like 4th grade to senior year of high school.
Oh, gotcha.
But that's where I learned how to like really, really hone in on my artistic and my artistic ability and my musicianship as a guitar player. So, yeah, I mean that's my story. Went to Cal State Northridge, came back during COVID, finished my degree online. It was horrible. It sucked.
I can imagine.
It was terrible. And then I bounced back and forth between bands. I played with this band out of Ontario. They were called Aerial View, and that's the band that I toured with. We did like a 6-week long tour of the western half of the United States
That's
last
awesome.
year, last March to April. But it was awesome. I mean, that's the one thing. Like Kevin was saying earlier, when we were in college, we were talking about like our aspirations, and I told him, I was like, dude, someday I just want to tour. Like, I just want to be in a band. I want to tour the United States and just play, and like just play to people and have them like have that energy like reciprocated back at me.
Yeah.
And it happened, and it was awesome, and it was so much fun. It was a lot of work. It was very tiring. Nadine, the drummer for Hollow Spaces.
Shout out Nadine.
Yeah, she was in that too. So she was actually a really big part of me like growing as a touring musician as well, because she had
Right.
already done that. She's got a big background in touring and performing as well. But so yeah, we did that, came back, and as soon as I got back, I was like, when are we going back?
She was ready.
Yeah, it was like so did another tour several months later. It wasn't as long, thankfully. It was only 2 weeks, I think. 2.5, almost 3 weeks.
Yeah, it was like almost 3 weeks.
Something like that.
And where was that?
That was West Coast. So we went
Okay.
all the way up to Vancouver, Canada, and then made our way down through like Washington, Seattle, into like Portland, Eugene, Oregon,
Okay.
and then all the way down the coast of California.
That's
That's
cool.
awesome.
It was so cool. Again, a lot of work. People don't realize how much work a
There's
tour
a lot
is.
of work.
Like,
Yeah.
and a lot of people think that it's like a vacation,
No.
but it's really not.
That's working 24/7.
It
the minute
is,
you
because like
leave.
you wake up at like 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, pack up all your stuff, load up, drive anywhere between like an hour and a half to 6 hours, depending on like where you're going. Get to the venue or get to your hotel if you want to check in first. Then go to the venue because you have to check in. Do your sound check. Wait. Play at like 8:30, 9, sometimes 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Wait for, if you're not the headlining band, if you're not the closer, wait for the closer. Wait for the payout. Load all your stuff up, and then go to whatever hotel you're staying at. Get there at like 12, sometimes 1 o'clock at night.
Yep.
Unload, so that way nobody breaks into your van and takes all your stuff. And then go to bed by like any time between 12:30 and like 2, maybe 2:30. And then get up in the morning before it's time to check out, and then just do it all over again.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
hotels
it's
always
like-
make you check out early for some reason.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
Why?
check
Like-
in so late.
11?
It's terrible. Something like that. Something. No, we were like blessed when we were able to check out at 11, because there
Yeah.
were some hotels where we had to check out by like 9 or
That's
10.
crazy.
Man, on a
Unheard
tour
of.
too. That
It was
yeah,
terrible.
That sucks.
So we like ran on coffee and
Yeah.
Red Bull and like
Shout out Red Bull.
yeah,
Shout
shout,
out.
out, shout out Red Bull. Shout out Red Bull.
Let's get a
funny.
shout out everyone.
Yeah, it's hard to stay healthy too on tour because you're
Oh,
just
yeah.
like go go go. So yeah, it sucks. It sucks eating fast
Wow.
food.
Well, okay, so this most recent tour was about close to 3 weeks.
The most recent tour was actually with a different band. I'm in a band called Cold Culture. It's like a we call it West Coast emo because it's kind of like
I love
I don't know
that.
if you've heard Midwest emo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So there's Midwest emo, and we basically took that sound and now we're calling it West Coast emo. So it's not like
Okay.
pop punk. It's not necessarily like super math rocky, but it's like somewhere in between, and
Yeah.
it's got like a Cali sound. But I went on tour with Cold Culture in May, and we did like a 10-day tour, a West Coast tour.
Okay.
So that was really, really cool. Shout out Cold Culture.
Yeah, big shout out, Cold Culture.
Awesome. And so, what's your most recent? Have you done any performances?
Honestly, no. It's like performing's always second nature. Like you can ask her or anybody else. When someone tells me to do something, like or perform a song or something, it's like, all right, let me hear the beat, and I do it. And it's like I snap into a character, but I haven't had a lot of experience on a stage. I honestly have not. So, I mean, I do have a bit of nervousness about it for when I drop the album, when we're performing, but
Yeah.
as far as I've seen, as far as anyone around me has seen, there's like, you got this. Because like it's like I just snap into a character, and I'm that character, and then I snap out of it. It's still me, but it's like I go into almost like this autopilot mode where it's just like I'm not overthinking it. I'm not just go up there and do your thing like the best you can, because that's all you really can do. You know
Well,
what
it's
I mean?
I'm
performing.
excited
It's
to
like
do
acting,
that.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
You
You
know,
know, it's entertainment. Like
Yeah.
it is my art, but in a sense, it's an entertainment industry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
You know what I
people
mean?
don't go to a show necessarily just to hear the music. They go to see a show.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're not just, performing as in like just playing your music or doing your thing. Like you're there, you're an entertainer. You're putting on a show. And I'm super stoked to see that because I
Yeah.
haven't seen you perform before. So I'm just really excited to
You
see
see me perform
like
at parties and stuff, but not like on an actual stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And when you say you snap into like this character, like what is that character? Like what are your thoughts? Like how are you feeling? Are you more like a
I become like more carefree than when like I'm rapping and I got people's attention and people are feeling it. It's like I feel like the most carefree ever. I'm not thinking. I'm just there. I'm just here to do the best, what I do best, and it's rapping. I rhyme words like crazy. I always pride myself in my multis. I can do unorthodox flows, anything like that.
Yeah.
And it's just I'm a performance artist. That's one of the things I do well is performing. I just haven't actually gone on stage anywhere else. I've performed to myself or in front of people. I've always done well snapping out of it. And I know there's some people who would argue like, oh well, it's different on a stage. I'm not paying attention to any of that. Like I'm gonna just go up there and do my thing. I'm not thinking about what other people are thinking, what people are liking. I'm not paying attention if people are vibing or not. I'm just gonna do my thing, and whoever wants to vibe with me can vibe with me. Because from the people I've seen that are performers coming up, that's what they do. From all the other artists I've seen coming up, big artists, that's how they started. There would be almost nobody even listening to them. You just go up there and you do your thing the best you can, how you envision it, you know?
I feel like when
Okay.
you're finally on a stage, it's basically going to be like that, but even heightened for you. Because if you
Right.
already feel that and you're just like at a party, or if you're just like in a small room, like just doing whatever, when you're on that stage, I have a feeling for you, it's just going to be like heightened. Because
Yeah.
that's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Well, it's better. It's more genuine because now these are people you don't know.
Mhm.
Because like people at a party, you might know the host, you might know these people,
That's true.
these certain people.
scary.
You know.
That's scary.
and so now, and so now you're getting on a stage. There's 100 people you don't know. Maybe you know 3 of them, and you have to do that.
It takes a lot of courage.
It does,
but
it does,
it's something
yeah.
that I'm not like scared to do. I'm sure there's people who would say otherwise, because there's people who I know are great performers that have had bad performances.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm not saying like I'm gonna rip it every time or my first show is gonna be the best, but I just know
No.
I'm gonna show up and
But
show
those
out.
bad ones
to the-
humble you though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've had battles where I'm in front of a group of 100 people and I lost like miserably. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
so I've dealt with some of my own humbling. I guess that's considered performances. I'm not entirely sure if that's the same as performing on a stage with music, but
Okay. Okay.
I've had some experiences with like being booed and people. I mean, I've had people who wanted to fight me in battles and
Oh
stuff
yeah.
like, yeah.
You just
Yeah.
said
Oh
the-
yeah. No.
you said the
People
wrong
take it way
thing
too
or what?
serious.
Sometimes, and a lot of times, the people I was around didn't expect. They would see how I looked. I was a lot skinnier and cornier looking, and you know what I mean, like fragile looking. And so they didn't expect me to say the things I would say or to rap as good as I would.
They got
and in that
offended.
community, it isn't about just you sounding good. It's like, what are you saying? And so I've always
Yeah.
prided myself on craft. I studied Big L, Eminem. I mean, like,
Oh, Big L's the
you know what I mean?
best.
He's one of the people I say that like taught me how to rap, because that's when I
Oh,
caught
Big
on to
L?
multi-syllable rhymes, was listening to Big L. His
Yeah.
98 freestyle.
Big L.
I was like, oh, I don't have to rhyme just one thing. Like, yeah, but it's one of those things, like I said, when I do my shows, win or lose, I'm just going to show up and show out the best I can. You got to
Yeah.
start somewhere, and I can't just be like, oh, well, I don't know how to do it, so I'm just going to be scared to. I'm going to go out there and do my best and learn from my experiences as I go along. That's all I can do.
Okay, so let's talk about the performance aspect. For both of you, real quick. who's someone that you look up to? And this question is for both of you. Like performing, not just songwriting, not just singing.
Simple Plan.
Simple Plan.
When I was like a middle schooler and a high schooler, like I would study Simple Plan and Green Day videos. Like all of their live performances, I would literally just be glued to the screen, just like watching them, like the way that they would jump and the way that they would like spin with their guitars and like just go nuts. Yeah, that's for me. That's my influence.
In between, for me, it's in between Mac Miller, who's one of my like favorite
Mac
artists,
Miller
because he
was a
just
great
goes up
performer.
there and vibes,
He
man.
was a great performer.
He was amazing. And then another one is Tech Nine. I don't know if you've
Tech
seen.
Nine is
He
wild.
gets down. I've seen Tech Nine like 3 or 4 times, and one of the best shows I saw was at Knotfest. I think it was 2016 or 2017. I can't remember, but he performed with a live band, and he was doing like Riot Maker. And I was in the back, and like it was at the Samuel Amphitheater, and I was I was all the way in the back with like the grass and everything, and people lit up this giant trash fire and started moshing around it to Tech Nine performing. It was insane.
Is
It
that the
was,
same? Is that the same day you got the UFOs on
Yeah,
camera,
yeah.
on photo?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's dope. He has
Yeah.
a picture of like UFOs. Like he took a
At
picture
the-
of the
yeah,
stage, but
it
like you
looks
see in
like
the
UFOs.
sky, there's like crazy like lights and
Was it
dots.
was it like triangles?
no, it
You
looked
can't
like
tell.
this.
It was like
wow.
there's like 5 or 6 of them, and like they're all like spread out, but like in a little cluster almost.
No kidding.
Yeah, I'd
I'll
have
pull
to
it
find
up
that
after.
picture. I
I'll
have to
pull it
find
up.
that
It's on your
picture somewhere.
Instagram.
My old Instagram. I don't use that old Instagram anymore. There's too many memories attached to it.
Your brother has it. Your brother has it. I know he does.
That's pretty cool. You know, in my personal experience, I like being in front of random people rather
Yeah.
than my peers because I don't have on both sides. There's no opinions on me. or
Right,
them.
exactly.
I
So I
agree.
can literally be as genuine as I am because if I'm in front of my peers, then I have like, you know, I put on this cap, I'm this character, you know, I'm trying to, you know, be somebody. But when it's in front of random people, I'm just me.
Do you ever get asked by family to like perform, like if you're at a family function?
Like karaoke or something, or like doing speeches if that's what you mean.
Yeah.
You know? So just like little things like that, because
Yeah.
out of the family, I'm probably the most outgoing one.
Yeah.
So it's
I have to give it to my family, my friends that I have performed in front of. They're the ones who've kind of instilled that, like, I don't want to say fearless mindset, but one of those is like, I'm going to go up there and just do my thing, because they were like my biggest critics. You know, any little thing is like,
That's
that
good.
sucks. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like, I've been eaten alive by a lot the people I love the most. So
Yeah.
the random people that are in the back that don't like me, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to worry about that too much when there's these people in the front who are celebrating what I'm doing. You know?
Yeah.
No.
And so like family, I feel like is like can be your biggest critic, but at the same time, like my dad, he's like the nicest guy. If I'd be like, hey, what am I doing wrong here? He'd be like, you're perfect.
Nah,
yeah,
come on,
yeah,
Dad.
like-
come on. My mom will be like, this is not it.
Trash.
Yeah. No, and so like, you know, I kind of have that dynamic from both of them. So I get that if I want praise, I'll bring it to dad.
It's
Hey, yo,
opposite
Dad,
for
check
me.
this out.
My
Oh,
dad's
is it?
super, like anything I show him, even if I'm like super proud of it and I think it's awesome, he'll be like, we could have done this. Or like if I do something or if I, you know, perform or if I come out with a song and I'm like, it's kind of whatever. He's like, what do you mean? It's really, really good. But like, he's like really straight up. My mom isn't as like musical as my dad. So she'll be like,
okay.
oh, that was good. Oh, that was really good. You guys sounded really good. And I'm like, oh, okay.
You're like, you don't understand.
But I feel like it's more pressure when you're performing in front of like friends and family, or like
yeah.
when it's people that you actually know. Like for me, I could go up on stage in front of like hundreds of people that are strangers and do perfectly fine. If
Yeah.
it's like a small group of people, especially like family or friends, I'm like, dude, no.
It feels
Like,
more personal.
That's why I
Yeah.
asked you
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
That's why I asked
Mhm.
you
It does,
about
yeah.
like the family thing, like 'cause I'll be at family functions, like I'll be seeing his family, and they'll be like, "Oh, did you bring your guitar?" And I'm like, no. And they're like, "Oh, bring it next time." And I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
My,
I get nervous. I'm like,
Yeah.
nah.
My grandpa and my grandma, rest in peace, they would do that to her and some of her friends. Remember they had you perform on the
Oh,
piano in the
yeah.
living room one time?
Yeah, there was a party happening at his house, like I don't know, like a family. It was somebody's birthday.
Well, sometimes we
think.
just throw random parties
I
at
don't
my
know.
house.
It was
you know?
cool though, and then like this other band that I'm in, Viridian Lights, we were all there because we were like practicing and hanging out earlier that day. And he was like, "Yo, roll through," and so we all showed up, And our keyboard player just like hopped on the piano at his house and was just playing. And she started playing like one of the songs that we do. And so our singer started singing along to it. And then me and the bass player got together and we started singing our harmonies with it. So it just became like this huge thing. And it was
Like
cool.
everybody surrounded them in my living room. It was
fun.
awesome.
That sounds like a movie, to be honest.
Yeah, it was
I
sick.
Like
It
that.
does.
It was dope.
That's a really good feeling. All right, you guys, it is a half hour past 7. We're going to take a 5-minute break, but when we come back, we're gonna get into some more stuff here.
Some more stuff and
Yes,
some
sir.
music.
And some music, guys. We can't forget about that. So we'll be right back. You guys are listening to Whatever Works on KCAA.
Feeling good. Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah.
From the Bureau of Economic Geology, this is Earth Date. Take a moment to look at your hands. Move them around and watch how the bones work. Think about what your hands have done in your lifetime alone. They learned to write. They drove your first car. Took the hand of the person you'd marry. They work every day in an office, shop, or laboratory. And they held or will hold your children for the very first time. Your hands will touch every part of your time on Earth. But the minerals that make them up are eternal. The calcium in the bones of your hands is older than the Earth itself. It formed after the Big Bang through supernova explosions and became concentrated in rocky planets. Once on Earth, it may have spent 500 million years drifting in seawater or passing through generations of ancient sea creatures. 200 million years more in the age of dinosaurs, making up the bones of tyrannosaurs or the eggshells of pteranodons. Your calcium then journeyed through 100 million years of mammals, finally pausing for a geologic split second to form your hands. After your hands have held their last cup of coffee or played their last song, no matter how your remains are disposed of, your calcium will one day re-enter the Earth. Who knows where it might end up next? Perhaps it could pass through the bones of generations of future humans, one of whom just may take a tiny part of you once again to another galaxy. I'm Scott Tinker, and thanks for listening.
Earth Date is produced by the Bureau of Economic Geology at the University of Texas at Austin. Earth Date is researched by Julie Hennings, written by Harry Lynch, and distributed by Mark Blunt and Casey Walker. For more stories, follow us on Facebook or visit earthdate.org.
Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau de Arco Super Tea helps build red corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TahiboTeaClub.com, or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TahiboTeaClub.com.
Hi, I'm food critic Alan Borgen, and I'm excited to tell you about Ray's Shanghai Bistro, located next to Redlands DMV on Lagonia in Redlands. Ray's Shanghai Bistro offers the largest and most delicious array of traditional and original Chinese dishes available in the Inland Empire. Some of my favorite dishes are the house-made pot stickers, the crisp pork spare ribs with garlic, their unique spicy lamb with bamboo, the sweet and tangy deep-fried orange peel beef, and the savory basil spicy shrimp, plus lots of vegetarian dishes. Whether you dine in, pick up the food, or have them cater your next party or special occasions, you will see why Ray's, spelled R-U-I'(S), Shanghai Bistro, is truly the best Chinese restaurant in the Inland Empire. Their website is raysshanghaibistro.net. That's raysshanghaibistro.net. R-U-I-S, shanghhaibistro.net. Happy eating! You won't be disappointed.
Although plywood is great for hundreds of uses, it's not the most convenient thing to heft from one place to another. Most plywood comes in 4x8 sheets and weighs anywhere from 25 to 85 pounds, depending on the thickness of the sheet. Bottom line, unless you have really long arms, sheets of plywood are a stretch to carry. Here are a couple of ways around that. Position the plywood with a long edge down. Tie about 20 feet of rope into a loop and slip each end of the loop around the two bottom corners of the plywood. Reach over the edge of the plywood, grab the middle part of the loop, and lift. That's a good way to get you and your load from point A to B. Another trick is to lift the plywood slightly with one hand, and with the other, hook a claw hammer under the plywood about midway along the edge. The hammer extends your reach, and again, you've got yourself an instant handle. Get more tips at bobvila.com, and right here at home with me, Bob Vila.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy Sunday. You're listening to Whatever Works on KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM. I'm your host, Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan, and we have...
I'm AJ Day from Hollow Spaces.
And I'm Reflect from Hollow Spaces and Lifted Brigade.
Yes, if you guys are just tuning in, please go back and listen to the first half hour. Amazing stories, amazing builds up, and you know sometimes Joe doesn't even pay attention, but he was paying attention tonight, so that really tells you something.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so if you guys want to go back and listen to it, you guys can just go on KCAA.com, KCAAradio.com, and find us Whatever Works there, or you know Spotify and all that good stuff. So I'm super excited to have you guys on. You guys sent us in about 3 songs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about one of them, the ones that you guys really want.
So I'd like to start talking about the Insane song by Hollow Spaces, which is the one we made. Our goal was to kind of merge our sounds, like my lyrical ability and songwriting ability, because she can play pretty much every instrument, mostly guitar, but she's very talented when it comes to instruments. So I was like, let's just try something out. And like I said previously, it was the day it snowed when we came up with it, and we didn't even know we were going to become a band yet. We were just like, let's just collab.
Random.
Yeah, it was the most randomest thing ever.
Kevin was like, dude, we always talk for years. We've been talking about like writing a song together. Like, let's just do it. Like, are you busy right now? I'm like, no, dude, come over.
She's
it's
like,
snowing
it's
outside.
snowing.
Like, just come up. So he came over, and I was like, okay, what do you want it to sound like? And he was like, I don't know. I was like, okay, let me hop on drums really quick, and I'll just play a beat. You tell me if you like it or not. So I played something, and he was like, that's cool, but like, what else you got? And I was like, all right, let me try this. And I ended up playing the beat that's in the intro of this next song, and he was like, dude, keep that. And so he was like sitting there like bobbing his head, and he was like, all right, let me write something to it. And I'm like, okay, let me put this in Logic really quick, the recording software that I use. And so I just did like some like little programmed drums, started writing a little guitar riff. It's like the main hook that you're gonna hear. And then he was like, dude, I like that a lot. And so put down some chords to it. He did a scratch rapping vocal track, and then I guess we'll talk a little bit more after, unless you want me to finish the story.
Insane.
All right.
I'll finish the story after.
All right, sounds
So
good.
this is Insane by Hollow Spaces.
I'm always on the edge of it. When stepping any direction is the ledge of this precipice. The distance from the floor continues growing with the passing days, while I use my shadow as an outfit just to mask my shame. Chemically imbalanced, so I walk with a limp. I ain't popping those handies, I'm slinging balls for my rent. A little harsh and intense, never parked on the bench. The game is rigged, but I'ma play it till my darkness is cleansed. But I'm far from convinced there's any chances to change. I guess I'll spend my life like I'm Charles Manson deranged. Take a glance at my pain, not a sight for a feeble mind. Walk the street you rise, belly of the beast where he resides. I pop the cap off this bottle and tip it back with the fire in my eyes, but I haven't lit a match. I've been going through the attention, so I'm always sedated. When I die from an overdose, I'll know that I made it. You can say I'm crazy and bury me beneath the trees to save me. But run away, can't seem to run away, run away. Won't you play the same game or ride the wave of words before it's too late? But run away, can't seem to run away, run away. With my back against the wall, but I don't cry for help. A soldier in the never-ending battle that's inside myself. I face my fears for far too long to ever seem afraid. No peace treaties, no white flags that we can wave. Closet full of skeletons, this trauma's just a souvenir. My soul's behind the yellow tape, but all the people do is cheer. That's a cold case, ain't no way of solving it. Maybe I should let it go and balance out my consciousness. It's obvious I'm double-sided, something like a Gemini. But I'm a Cancer and my better half is dead inside. Desensitized, but feel the heat when it's set to rise. Left to die, my pot to piss in was a web of lies. So I weaponized the anger and confusion, then illustrated and displayed it through this music. I'm a slave to emotions and exposing the hatred. When I'm murdered for my legacy, I'll know that I made it. You can say I'm crazy and bury me beneath the trees to save me. But run away, can't seem to run away, run away. Won't you play the same game or ride the wave of words before it's too late? But run away, can't seem to run away, run away.
Wow, that was amazing.
That's
Thank
it.
you.
That's
really
it.
good. That was
Thank
really
you.
good.
Thank you.
To
Appreciate
continue, to continue my story.
that. I love that outro. so
Yeah,
much.
that's a cool
yeah.
outro. After like, I don't know, 45 minutes, we were like, okay, he was like, it needs a hook. And I'm like, okay, so let's come up with a chorus. So I like sat there for a few minutes and I wrote the chorus and I showed it to him and he was like, dude, that's sick. Like, you know who would sound really good on it is Sarah. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So Sarah McClung, she's singing the chorus, and she's also featured in the music video. But I called her up that morning, and we were like, yo, Kevin's at my house right now. Like, we just wrote this song, and we think that you would sound really good singing it. What are you doing right now? And she was like, I'm still in my pajamas. I'm just chilling at home. I'm like, okay, well, get ready. Come over here right now and come record scratch tracks. And she was like, all right, give me like 30 minutes. And so she came over, and she recorded the scratch track. We had the demo, and we were like, we gotta go into the studio. We gotta take this into the studio and like actually do, you know, real tracks. Like,
I really
do
wasn't
final
expecting
vocals.
it to go that far. Like, I thought we were just going to come up with something. Like, okay, maybe we'll, like, you know, we can do better next time or something. Like, I just wanted to have fun and just make some music for fun. And
It was snowing.
And that was the product of fun,
Mm-hmm.
of doing something that we wanted to do, something that we actually liked, which
Yeah.
I had never really done before. Like, I was always told, like, you need to write a hit. Like, Alex, you need to write a hit. You need to write a hit. And I was always trying to write a hit. And so he was always like, dude, just write because you want to write something.
I was just like, you know,
have
like,
fun with it.
That's one of the reasons I wanted her to like be like in charge of Hollow Spaces with me, was because like I seen her in all these bands and they're all very talented, but
Yeah.
she never got enough creative control for the work she was putting in. It was always what they were telling. I was just like, I want you to do what you want to do, what you think is dope, and we'll work with that.
And that was amazing.
You like it?
Yeah. No,
Promise?
yeah,
It
seriously.
was pretty good. I
Oh.
enjoyed it. Honestly,
Man,
your
the
guys'
next one.
Yeah, your guys' stories, like in the first half of the show, I was just like, okay, this is gonna be interesting. And then like hearing that song, I was like, this is not what I expect. This is different. It's really cool. I like it. You know, that was pretty cool. And that
Thank you.
song is called
Insane.
Insanity.
Insane by Hollow
Insane.
Spaces.
We just
Insane.
we just released a music video for it too. If you
Okay.
go on YouTube, type in Hollow Spaces Insane, it should be the first thing that pops up. He's on the cover of it.
Like, subscribe, comment.
Yeah.
Like,
Ring,
Leave
ring
some
that
comments.
bell.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Get those alerts.
All that
There
promotion.
you go.
That's pretty awesome. And then, so what's the next song that you guys sent us in?
So the next one is going to be Silent Treatment, which is for my solo career as Reflect. It's going to be on my project called Chaotic Volume 1. It's featuring Richard Blackshear. Shout out
Shout out,
Richard.
Richard.
He blessed me with a verse on that. And
Okay.
yeah, I was writing that song, and I believe I was just in a weird state. My grandmother was in the hospital, and my cousin's mental health was like deteriorating, and I was going through like my own like personal stuff with addiction and everything, and I was just like, I'm gonna try to clean my system out and start getting my life together. And so that was kind of, I written that once I had started making the decision to like, I'm gonna start going into music. I'm not messing around with like drinking all the time anymore because I'm depressed. Like, I'm just gonna drink water, work out, and make music, go to work. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that kind of is where that song came from. And when I found the beat, the second I found the beat, before I even wrote it, I was just like, I need Richard on this. Like, I just knew right away. Yeah.
Definitely.
All right.
All right, so this
Joe,
next song,
load it up.
Silent Treatment by Reflect.
For me, that itty bitty little silence is like the instant of the Big Bang, setting off an explosion that creates an entire musical universe.
I've been smoking, I've been drinking, no emotions, I'm just thinking. Antisocial, fighting demons, paranoid, now I ain't sleeping. Feel the void inside me leaking, it destroys what I believe in. But the noise is finally easing, I enjoy the silent treatment. The light breaks through as I open the door. This is the path that I've chosen to go. Wasting my youth, putting book on my nose. Spending all my money, staying focused on hoes. That ain't something I'm exposing to boast. And I ain't trying to help any foes with a roast. I apologize to all of those who oppose. But now I spend my time on my goals, on my hopes. Felt the pain inside but didn't drain it out. I built it all up till I was breaking down. Moving sideways and all the way around. Hit the 180, I had to straighten out. More calm and patient now. Made with love, that means there ain't no hate allowed. That's some good news, so I'ma say you're proud. Read all about it, I went the paper route. But the pressure can't be too much for me. Sometimes wearing my own skin can just comfort me. Peace of mind is a luxury. Wish I was living comfortably, and I mean to say that humbly. Some days I just be struggling. I try to relax when suddenly I've been smoking, I've been drinking, no emotions, I'm just thinking. Antisocial, fighting demons, paranoid, now I ain't sleeping. Feel the void inside me leaking, it destroys what I believe in. But the noise is finally easing, I enjoy the silent treatment. I've been smoking, I've been drinking, no emotions, I'm just thinking. Antisocial, fighting demons, paranoid, now I ain't sleeping. Feel the void inside me leaking, it destroys what I believe in. But the noise is finally easing, I enjoy the silent treatment.
I stopped drinking, I've been reading, I've been beating in the demons. I be knowing, got the reason. All these devils start retreating. I be writing rhymes in braille, I be spitting ASL. Silent treatment for the music. I've been working on a worker song, summarize the work I'm on. Black Baptist, anti-Catholic, cast stacks, I'm still a pawn. Had a panic attack on the freeway, cause I realized I'm still him. Like I'm so great that it scares and trying to hold it down like a hairpin. I'm a top dog in my mirror when I trim the hair, my chinny chin, my many friends, my reason why I don't dive off the deep end. I've been working on my inner work, trying to find my inner worth. Jesus speaks, forgot that I'm a sinner first.
I've been smoking, I've been drinking, no emotions, I'm just thinking. Antisocial, fighting demons, paranoid, now I ain't sleeping. Feel the void inside me leaking, it destroys what I believe in. But the noise is finally easing, I enjoy the silent treatment.
Oh man.
You know, that has.
This is IE music, guys.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
I've been thinking, I've been drinking.
Honestly, I came up with that hook like on spot when I was writing it. I kind of like just freestyled it in my head, and I was like, all of that, it's pretty good.
It's like, not bad.
At first, I was kind of overthinking. I was like, oh, it's a little corny, but I was like, man, screw that.
We'll run it. Yeah. No, it gets it going, and the beat is kind of like reminds me of like Logic.
It does.
And I was like, okay, this is gonna be a good twist, because it like that beat already puts you in like that. Like touches your soul. Like you're already in that zone of just like, okay, you're feeling yourself, and then your words, your lyrics, and the tempo and the beat, the whole thing just puts together. Like you're reflecting. You know what I mean? And that's your name. You know?
Yeah.
And so it definitely pairs well with you. So that's pretty good.
That's kind of why my name
Who did
is
the
Reflect.
beat?
It's this guy. It was a YouTube beat I bought from this guy named PK.
Okay.
It was called, I can't remember the name of what he named the instrumental, but I bought it off of him through YouTube and BeatStars.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, silent treatment, bro. That's pretty good.
And then you and Richard mastered it or what?
Richard, he recorded his verse at his own studio, and then I recorded it and then mastered and engineered it with Alex.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good job, guys.
Shout out to Amberwood Studios.
Yeah,
Amberwood
shout out.
Studios.
All right, so we got one more song that you guys sent us. What is this one?
This one's Chaotic. I did a music video. When did I do it? It was like September, I think, and I dropped the music video in October. This guy, Ninth and Company, he also shot the Insane music video. Shout out Ninth and Company. He had been trying to get me to work with him for a while, and he's like, come on, bro. Like, let's just do a music video. I know you got a song we can do one for. So I linked up with him, and this song's basically about where my mind was when I was partying, and, like, it's kind of, yeah, basically how my mind state was when I was a party animal.
And the song's called what?
Chaotic.
Chaotic.
It's
Okay.
fun. It's fun.
Yo, what you doing? Trying to kick it? For sure. Meet me by the car. I bet. Look. Been wildin' for this chapter begun. With the darkness that eclipses almost half of the sun. Been way before I drop them tabs on my tongue. Jack of all trades, but a master of one. Marky is the passenger, I pass him the. Pull up to the liquor store, give cash to a bum. Caught me some tequila and a bag of that numb. Cruising around the Dino while we rapping for fun. Piece of stability isn't something that I'm used to. Don't ever get it twisted, I've always had a screw loose. Acting like an animal and the party is my habitat. Eating all these mushrooms like a Mario, then battle rap. When it's time for work, I ain't bout to fuck around. Building from the bottom up until I get my structure down. The sky's falling, but like Guru, I exist above the clouds. Last name is Overturf, but I keep it underground.
Sex, drugs, hip hop and soul. Whatever's in between, plus some rock and roll. Like a leprechaun with his pot of gold. Brings a little light to my darkened soul.
From the C to the H to the A to the O to the T to the I and the C like before. Any beef to arise, RIP to my foes. LEDs for some eyes as I speed down the road.
Catch me in the background, looking like a sad clown. They say it got that drip, but I'm sure it's just this black cloud that follows me to every place that I go. How am I hot-headed with a face full of snow? This chick hits me up, but we ain't too involved. That text was a booby trap, now I got a call. I don't care who's at fault or about the true or false. Hit it like my duty, y'all. Where she want the coup de grace. Headshot, then I'm on to the next one. Here's a Benji for the stress and a rag for the mess, hun. At my table, we don't waste a single breadcrumb. And the chip on my shoulder mixed well with this red rum. Inebriated, watching time as it slips by. Wanna trade shoes, I think mine needs a spit shine. Be prepared to do this dance on some thin ice. And don't forget the few things that I live by.
Sex, drugs, hip hop and soul. Whatever's in between, plus some rock and roll. Like a leprechaun with his pot of gold. Brings a little light to my darkened soul.
From the C to the H to the A to the O to the T to the I and the C like before. Any beef to arise, RIP to my foes. LEDs for some eyes as I speed down the road.
Yeah, you're going through a tough time in that.
Yeah.
Just good. That was your party mode right there.
I spent a lot of years living like that. I'm glad I'm not living like that anymore.
Cool. That's good. I mean, hey, you know, sometimes that's where good music comes from too, though. It's when you're in your deepest moments, you know, your darkest times. So, thank you guys for coming on the show. I appreciate it. Shout out to you guys one more time. What's your names?
Reflect.
AJ Day.
And we're from Hollow Spaces. And I'm from Lifted Brigade as well.
All right. there you
Shout
guys go.
out Beezy. Shout out everyone.
All right, you guys. That's whatever works. We'll be right back next Sunday at 7 p.m. as always with another guest. Stay tuned and stick around for Ferran's show at 8 o'clock. Wish you guys happy Sunday.
Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah, hey, every day can be a better day despite the challenge. All you gotta do is leave it better than you found it. It's gonna get difficult to stand, but
News, weather, and talk from KCAA broadcast.